So here's my review of this work. So this first picture I really find interesting and effective. Even though it's breaking some of the rules, we've got the light and the dark, but there's something about this that it feels like it hovers between something being kind of abstract and being actually being a picture of a leaf of a flower, a plant. I'm not sure exactly, but I know it's a leaf. I know it's biological, but it also, there's certain aspects to it that make it a little bit more unknowable. And there's a few things, including this little bit of light that comes through on the second one, and then the shininess and the detail that are really interesting. Compositionally, it's breaking a lot of rules, but I think it's got a little bit of interest because of that. This one to me is less effective. It's more kind of literal. I like I'm finding the sharpness of the leaf really appealing. But on the other hand, it doesn't take me anywhere else. This one starts to have some other things going on. The little fingers and the sharpness there is really interesting. It's kind of lush against the black. But then the stem here on the left, the upper left going up to the upper left corner, for me is a little bit, it's falling off. I'm sorry, it's a little bit distracting because it's so much brighter. And really, I want my eye to go to this other place here. This one, similarly, I think maybe the bright sunlight ultimately doesn't work for this. The drops are really nice, and it's nicely seen. But I'm finding that, the contrast and the sunlight, I can't quite get there. It's very much just, for me, pictures of a leaf. This one has some other interesting dimensions in terms of the layering behind, I think, assuming it's a brick wall, maybe. It appears to be a brick wall, so there's like the color of red is happening in both pictures, and there's some kind of pattern, a graphic element to this, which is interesting, that starts to maybe go somewhere else. And then this one also has got a graphic element. It looks like it could almost be ironwork, right? And it has the silhouettes are interesting. I'm a little distracted by the tilting, how everything's tilting over. And I think it would be more interesting if it was straight up. But you might be interested in looking at the work of Harry Callahan. Look up his work. But this one, I think this one's pretty effective. This one is, it's okay, but it's actually ultimately a little bit okay. So now it's pictures of succulent. Okay. Well composed, well exposed, but beyond that, okay. And maybe the same with this, although you can see that some interesting things start to happen with the composition a little bit, and the detail, and even the kind of mistakes start to make pictures more interesting. Not even mistakes, but the blemishes on it are the most interesting things. Again, I think you have this great attention to detail, and you really seem to be fascinated with the idea of looking at things and kind of indulging in that. And I think that that's really appealing and interesting. And you might want to, I don't know if you know the work of Catherine Chalmers. Look up the work of Catherine Chalmers. She's kind of interesting with detail and biology. But I'm still distracted by some of the other things back here. But the macro, you definitely have an interest in macro. Duh. And then this one, like the first one, I think starts to be more interesting to me, because there feels like there's some other things happening, and this one compared to this one, this one feels kind of boring to me, whereas this one feels interesting, and I can't exactly tell you why, but there's something about the knots, and it seems to be something more than what it is. Anyway, nice job, and I'm looking forward to seeing. I want you to kind of think about how the pictures are functioning in different ways, and what you want them to do, and what makes you excited and want to take the next picture. So well done.